Hello dear farmers, it's your billionaire farmer right here. In this video, I want to be showing you some post-transplanting practices that we've been able to carry out as a company and as a farm that has helped us over the few planting seasons that we've experienced and that we are currently employing, right? So if you follow this channel over time, you would realize that I've shown you a couple of, I've showed a couple of videos about how you can prepare your land properly, how you can do your nursery properly, how you can transplant properly. But also, it is not just enough to transplant, right? What are the post-transplanting practices that we carry out that has helped us to maintain success? That also would help you maintain success of your tomato farm, because it's not just enough to do a good nursery. If it were enough, you would leave your plant in the nursery, right? But because it's not just enough to do a good nursery, it's not just enough to do a good land preparation and soil preparation and make your ridges or your beds properly. It's not just enough to transplant properly. You also need to understand the post-transplanting practices that you must carry out to ensure that your plant, make it to fruition stage and then you get the best from your plant, right? So one among such practices is definitely one thing that I was showing earlier on in the video, is immediately you get to transplant your tomato, immediately, emphasis on immediately, you get to transplant your nursery, your nursery into your soil. The first thing you want to do within 24 hours is to spray insecticide. Now, these insecticides are of varying degrees, different types. You can go for halakat, you can go for whichever one you choose on. But I'm not saying go and spray Baygon or spray Motin or spray mosquito spray. I'm not talking about that, like agricultural insecticide, right? Agro insecticide, not just some random, don't carry this, what's it called, insecticide, the likes of Motin and the likes, and go spray on your farm. That's going to destroy your farm most likely. So I'm talking about agro insecticide, the likes of one particular, if I have a picture, I'll probably put it here on the screen, but I do not, but the name is halakat, which is what I use. I use other variety that I can't recall right now, but particularly halakat. So for each knapsack that we use 25 mil per knapsack. Well, in this case, because they were still pretty much small, we didn't want anything to be too harsh on them. We used 20 mil per knapsack. A knapsack is, the spraying apparatus that you carry, the spraying container you carry behind your back to spray. As you can see in this video, what we're using is the mechanical sprayer, because this one has an engine. It's faster, because we had covered a lot of ground in terms of transplanting. It was late in the evening that day, and we thought, we don't always use this mechanical sprayer. We don't always use it because we understand very well that this consumes fuel, and not all workers can use it properly. And if it's used roughly, it will be broken, and it's over 250,000 naira to get that tool you're seeing. That's half of 500,000. That's a lot of money. So you can just use your normal knapsack, manual knapsack to do that. So 25 mil. Make sure if you transplant in the morning, right, you can actually even spray immediately after transplanting. If you transplant in the evening, make sure you spray before the next day. The reason being that there are going to be grasshoppers coming at night. There are going to be different insects. There are going to be so many insects, lizards and all that coming. All they will be doing is cutting your plant, right? All they will be doing is cutting down your plant and rendering your efforts completely useless, right? So please make sure that you don't just transplant and go sleep at home and hoping, or you're too tired, you hope you're going to come to spray insecticide the next day or something. No. Just know that if I'm transplanting today, I have to spray my insecticide today. And I've told you why you must spray your insecticide. Another thing that you must do is, in the event that you have not applied manure, before transplanting. You could apply after transplanting. One thing we were not able to do efficiently was apply our manure before transplanting. But mind you, what I made sure we did after transplanting was we applied the same manure. So we sprayed manure across some of the not the tomato plant that we've not applied manure on before transplanting, right? So we make sure we did that. So once you do that, watering is going to take care of the remaining thing. Good thing it's rainy season. Rainfall is going to take care of the remaining part of the business. Once it sits on it, it's going to embed itself into the soil. Another thing that you must do after transplanting is applying your fertilizer after 14 days. 14 days, guys. Nothing. Some people do 21 days, some people do, but 14 days is the recommended time within which you must apply your fertilizer. It's extremely important that you apply your fertilizer. Another thing that you must do after transplanting is make sure that your plant has appropriate water. In fact, I think immediately after spraying your insecticide, this should be the next thing I should talk about. But I mean, there you go. You must make sure that when it was in the nursery, you watered every morning, right? After your nursery, you get to water morning and evening, because now when it was in the nursery, it was in a cocoa pit, within the nursery tray, and the surface area within which it needs water is relatively less. So once you spray water, that very little surface area in the nursery tray where the root is embedded absorbs all of the water that you're spraying. It saps away, it's gradually. But when you are applying water and it's on the ground, the water just dissipates. You know how the ground is, it just drains the water. Plus there is sunlight this time around that is hitting the soil, hitting the plant, drying the water, evaporation, all of that stuff. But if it's in the nursery, it's a controlled space. It's covered, the water does not easily evaporate, right? The surface area within which the root is embedded is quite small, so the water takes time. So once you water once a day, you're good. In fact, you don't even have to water every single day. Some days you might choose not to water and you'll be good, right? But once you're transplanting, you have to water morning and evening, particularly. These are some of the reasons why I would always say you must make sure that you have water in your farm. It's not negotiable. You cannot depend on rainfall for water with which you want to. I've seen this again and again. A lot of farmers, because mind you, you're not farming corn. Corn has a lot of resistance. It has a lot of I don't know, but it can maintain itself without water for an extended period of time. But trust me, tomato, no. Cucumber, no. Bell pepper, no. Cabbage, no. All of these perishables, they need water to survive every single day. The right quantity of water needs to be supplied to it for it to thrive, right? Once you deprive your plant of water for 24 hours, right, you're setting your entire system, your entire farming process, and your harvest period back somewhere around 1 more week. That's the whole way it works. So if you do not have adequate water on your farm, please don't start. And again, I would say this categorically very clear. If you have one well, don't do beyond 2 plots of land. Please, for your own sake and your own safety. If you have one well, don't go beyond 2 plots of land. That's, for me, I would say that's the recommended land size that a single well can carry. We have 2 wells and by well, 1 well, I don't mean 1 well that is just there. 1 well that has adequate water, right? Don't go beyond 2 plots of land. And this is the season where water is available. If it's dry season, you have 1 well, don't even go beyond 1 plot of land. Simple advice. If you have 2 wells, in fact, if it's dry season, just equate it 1 well to a plot of land. If it's rainy season where water is available, you can do 1 plot to 2 plot to one well. Once you're going anything beyond 3-4 plots of land, trust me, you need a borehole. And when you're talking about borehole, you need the best hands to dig and drill your borehole for you. Take it as an advice from me. Yeah. So that being said, once you factor out your water part, the next thing you want to do is to make sure that you spray consistently. Mind you, what we do is that you spray your insecticide every 5 days, or 7 days, depending on how much money you have to throw around. But 5 days is good, 7 days is good. Spray your insecticide every 5 days. Spray your fungicide every 5 days. Spray your fungicide every five days, fungi and the like. This is where the likes of SAF and all that comes in play. You also get to eventually at some point spray your calcium, but all of that stuff. But at the moment, the most important is your insecticide, your fungicide, and then of course your foliar fertilizer. Extremely very, very important, right? So these are the few things that I feel that you must do immediately after transplanting, the practices that you must ensure you must cultivate after transplanting to ensure success. Subsequently, I'll bring you things you should do, how we do them, and how we go about them. Enjoy the remaining part of this video. See you.